Long time no video. Hello, my name is Simon, and I was working on a new version of the electric tail recently. And yeah, you may ask, why would he do that? Sounds like a stupid idea. And yes, oftentimes stupid ideas are kind of innovative. And yeah, the reason is quite simple. It's attractive because you have to, as you see, if you have a look at a traditional tail, um, you can see a lot of moving parts. You have to manufacture it, these tight tolerances, you have to assemble it, you have to maintain it, you have to have the tension on your belt drive system or whatever you use. And this is not that hassle-free than kind of a motor would be. It's just a motor, an ESC. You just have 3 wires. You don't need to tension anything. You have the propeller that is fixed, so no blade deflection system or anything. And yeah, basically that's quite attractive. So how could we get it done? Yeah, let me tell you something about the history of the project. So I started off with V-Bar because V-Bar had there was some kind of electric tail mode implemented back then. And I was using it, but it was an unidirectional approach. So for the small helicopters, it's okay if you just push against the torque. And the opposite direction is handled by just applying some torque on the main rotor, additional torque. And yes, it was not working at all. I had the wrong propeller. I couldn't get any acceleration on the counterclockwise. So you definitely need a push if you do jaw left. So this was not fine. Second iteration was then I was flying for Firmware about 15 years ago, and we did the microbeast back in the day, and so we would change the code of the microbeast accordingly to handle an reverse directional approach. And that's important because you need to push it, as I told you. And yeah, it was better. It was kind of flyable, but it was not performing that well. So I was thinking, how could I get spin up the motor faster? And I was finding a guy called Peter in YouTube. He was working on something called AM32. It was or it is actually an open source firmware for ESCs. And I wrote him, I contacted him and asked him for help. Thanks for that, by the way. And he implemented, changed the firmware so that because I needed a high voltage ESC because I'm running on 12S. So he put this firmware on this ESC I had and combined with the motor, adjusted it somehow, did some improvements on the code, and this was a massive improvement. So I really could do fly well, but it was not robust then. So you could have burnings on the motor sometimes, or sudden death of ESC. Yeah, I still have lots of burnt motors at home, and yeah. Yeah, then I stumbled on something that was called Rotorflight. Nobody knew it back then, and I got involved and I contacted the guys, and they helped me a lot because it was quite of a hassle to adjust it on the helicopter. I started off with a small helicopter, then I think it was the first 700 with Rotorflight, and yeah, but I did not use the electric tail because it was so much effort, but I saw the potential seems to be endless, and I thought this is the right way. And Dr. Rudder, the guy from, or the main programmer from Rotorflight, he did some bidirectional software approach. You can find it as experimental in the firmware. Yeah, and so yeah, now it was time to puzzle it together, to get new hardware and try it with Rotorflight. I didn't so far. Yes. Yeah, that's basically it. So let's talk about some technical details. As you can see, it's a Goblin. I had a spare, but I didn't use it. It's kind of nice. And what's not very fortunate is that the tail is quite heavy. So you have to accelerate it and brake it. But I was thinking if it's working with this tail, it could be working with possibly every tail. And as you can see, Rotorflight flight wagon, nothing special. And I got here two ESCs. The first one is for the main rotor. It's without BEC, so I have here some separated BEC. It's running on D-shot, so does the tail ESC. And it's 100 amps tail ESC, all running on 12S, of course. And here you can see some capacitors. I used that because I needed it in the past. I'm not sure if I need it now. The system is now, with new firmware, is absolutely robust. There is no burning, no heat, nothing. Just no these things, it just works. And same for the main rotor, but that's not as spectacular. Yeah, that's basically it. So thank you, and let's see how it flies.